We're just gonna have a regular video. Regular schmegular.
Regular video today.
Schmegular show.
The Schmegular show?
Yeah.
Book time.
We're gonna be talking about some of our favorite books, and we are both mostly Kindle people.
I'm an absolute Kindle person. You know why? For some reason, when I have a book in front of me, can't do it.
It feels different. It feels like more daunting in a lot of ways.
It does. I used to read more books in actual book form.
Yeah.
But then I got a Kindle and kind of messed around with just settings and things, and now I just keep it on percentage, and I see the percentage go up as I'm reading, so it makes me feel better about myself instead of being like, oh crap, I have half this book left and I feel like I've been reading forever. It's like 50%. Well, I could deal with 50%.
Yeah.
Something about the Kindle is so much easier for me to read.
And I will say, we do go to the thrift store a lot, kind of. And buying books and reading books, not the same thing. Totally different hobby.
Oh yeah. Buying books is more of a collection thing.
Yeah, so we go to the thrift store. It's fun to be like, ooh, this sounds really good, picking up a book for like $2 or something. But then actually reading, and actually I just heard this phrase yesterday.
You know the funny part about it is sometimes I'll buy the book and then get it on the Kindle and read it on the Kindle.
Same, I've done that before too.
I like owning the book for specific reasons of just I specifically like this author or I like what this person does or whatever. Yeah. But I also don't like to read it in book form.
Me, I like sometimes to have the physical copy if it's gonna be pretty, or if I'm like, ooh, this is my favorite author, I want this in a physical form.
That's how I am.
It's just, anyways, I was gonna say this though. Yesterday I saw this phrase on TikTok and I was like, that's exactly what I am. This guy was talking about the way that he reads, and he said, I'm a mood reader. So if I'm not in the mood to read something, I'm not going to read it. I'll read it later, but when I am in the mood to read it, I want to read this specific thing. And reading as a general idea too. Some people are very anti-reading, and I think it's also, I could talk about my book club a little bit, okay. But one of the things that I think is that when you put pressure on yourself to read a specific book, it feels like a chore, it feels like homework.
I think that's one of the reasons I have an issue with reading actual books. Mm-hmm. Is I sit there and look at it I gotta get this book done.
Yeah.
With the Kindle, I'm I can set it down and come back to it whenever.
Yeah. It's
still gonna be on the exact page. I don't have to worry about a bookmark falling out.
Yeah.
I've had that happen with so many books where I move it around because I'm I take it from room to room. I'm I'm gonna read over here. I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna,
Yeah.
And the bookmark falls out, and then you're well, now I gotta find the page I was on.
I
it's
barely
just not
started
fun.
using bookmarks. Anyways, one other thing that I was thinking about too is how reading can feel like a chore, and then oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something about going for a walk, and how when you go for a walk, then you're oh, that was actually nice.
But you don't want to go for the walk in the first place?
Yeah, something like that. We're gonna have to edit that part because I got a little confused there.
I say just leave it in. Isn't that what you say to me?
No. So let's go through and talk about some recent reads.
Recent reads. For me, my recent read, okay. I own the book.
Okay.
Been trying to read the book for 6 years.
And you said you had a physical copy.
I have a physical copy.
Yeah.
Been trying to read that for 6 years. Picked it up, put it down, picked it up, put it down.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck happened, but I've tried to read this book so many times. Finally finished it in a week.
Yeah. You started it all over again.
I started it all over again. Finished it completely in a week.
Yeah.
Which for me was fast.
Yeah.
But it's not that fast for reading, but for me it's fast because I don't have time to sit and read because I'm usually working afternoons. Mm-hmm. So I finally read A Head Full of Ghosts.
I think you're supposed to do the thing where you go
like
this, like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Real official.
So I finally read it. Been wanting to read it. I do read mostly horror. I love horror books. Not too
So was that one gory or is it just
No,
scary?
there's little bits of
Yeah.
gory parts. Like, I don't want to ruin the book, but there are some there's like one
Scary.
scene in it. It's not scary or
Oh.
anything. It's just gross.
Oh. Like The Exorcist, like
It's kind of weird.
vomit soup.
Yes,
Is that kind of a
similar,
creepy?
but in different ways. Yeah, it's very Exorcist-esque.
And when you were reading that book, you kept talking about it like the whole week. And then you kept saying stuff about like, this is in my head, this is in my mind, like I'm thinking about this.
I thought about the book. So the book is basically the story of a girl.
This is the story of a girl. Do you know that song?
No, you can't sing that on YouTube.
Oh,
you get
copyright?
demonetized.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. Do you know that song though?
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, okay. Can I hear you sing it?
No.
Oh my gosh.
You're making me lose my thoughts.
Sorry. It's stories
So
basically.
the story is the story of a girl who either is severely mentally ill
Okay, same.
or possessed.
Okay.
And they bring in like a camera crew and like try to figure out if this girl's possessed.
Okay. What's
So it's like a whole Discovery documentary.
Oh, okay.
So the whole story is basically her trying to figure out what's wrong with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing these wild things. And in the end, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say what happens.
Okay.
But I came to a conclusion where I definitely think one thing.
So is the book ambiguous about like the ending?
It is somewhat.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's if you realize certain things, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to kind of, if you know mentally ill people or you know people that have, you might know a little more.
And one thing that you mentioned when you were reading that was about like the mental health aspect of the book. And
The thing about that,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Just watch, not watch, just read the book. I'm telling you, read the book and talk about it next week.
about mental health or
Or
about
in 2
the book?
weeks. No, talk about the book.
Okay, I do want to steal your.
I really, really want to
like talk about that aspect of it.
talk about the book. And that's one thing I want you to read.
So, the book that I am going to discuss, or books, because I'm going to read about how like one led to another, which led to another, is this book, which is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Did I say tomorrow
You
enough
didn't
times?
hold it up like you made me hold it
I
up.
know. I was going to go like this. You know how the cameras do the autofocus?
Yeah,
You know how
but
people
that
used to...
doesn't work, I don't think, on the iPhone.
But it should. This is a thing. This is what YouTubers do.
Yeah.
So this book was a great read. I read it at the very end of December, and it ended up being, I think, the best book that I read all last year. It was a good mix of being literary, which I mean being like a little bit more, I don't want to say fancy because it wasn't necessarily fancy language, but there was more themes and stuff to it than just being like, oh, I'm reading this because everybody's reading this or because this is like an easy, fun read.
Okay.
So it had a little bit more like depth to it is
It
what I
had
want
more
to see.
context.
Yeah,
Depth.
there was just a lot to this story. And I really liked the author. So at the bottom it said, best-selling author of, and then I was like, oh, I want to check out that book. Storied Life of A.J. Furky. I kept saying the name wrong. Anyways, I went and read that book. And that book I absolutely loved. And I think that's going to be one of my favorite books of this year because I read that one in January. And what I was thinking about with that one is there was a line in that book, or maybe it was the other book that I read, The Reading List, which had a quote. And the quote was, books find you when you need them. And I thought that line was like so good because of the fact that I always see like connections in my life between the books that I read. And so I had bought this other book. Remember how I said buying books is a side hobby, not a reading hobby necessarily. So I had picked up this book at Costco and it just sounded interesting. It was called The Reading List. And I was like, oh, cool, a book about books. I want to read it. I brought it home, never read it. I think this goes along with the whole I'm a mood reader. So I just kept forgetting to read it. After I read Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and then I read her other novel, The Storied Life of A.J. Furky. I keep saying that name wrong. How do you say this? Anyways, so after I read that, I read The Reading List. Fergie? It's not Fergie. Furky.
I can't read it. Furky.
Furky, maybe.
I don't know.
Okay. And the reading list, I opened it up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get around to reading this book. Open it, and the like little quotations says, for people who loved Gabrielle Zevin, who is the author of these 2 books. So I was like, oh my gosh. Books find you when you need it. I ended up reading the reading list. January, I think I read that.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Incredible. Such a happy read, which also goes along with you're reading ghost stories and horror and mental health.
I know.
I'm trying to read books that are a little bit on the not heavier side, on the lighter side of life.
For me, it's like the heavier the story, the better.
Yeah, I used
Like,
to be like that, but
This is my next book that I'm currently reading, Ghost Story by Peter Straub.
let me see how scary that cover is.
So I own this also in paperback.
Okay.
It was so daunting because the book was thicker.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't super thick, but it was like a thicker book. And I never got around to reading it because I was like, and I've already like gotten a good ways into it.
The other thing that this is going to be like an ad for the Kindle. The other reason that I love the Kindle over, like, I love physical books, but if I want to go read in different places, I feel like I'm going to mess.
It anywhere.
I feel like I'm going to mess up the book. The Kindle is hardier, and oops, my quiche is done. And I think that should be the intro. My quiche is done.
It should be.
The Kindle's waterproof, so if I want to read in the pool or read by the pool, I don't have to worry about like wet hands. I can throw this in my bag and go to work, and I got my books there.
Not all Kindles are waterproof.
Oh yeah, we were reading about that.
Even some of the newer ones are not waterproof.
I know, that's weird.
So be careful with your Kindle. If you have a waterproof one, go ahead.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I wouldn't suggest it.
And speaking of like on the topic of Kindle, I think a pop socket is a necessary thing that it adds to it, because then you can just read like this, and it's super easy.
It does really help when you're reading, like
Yeah.
in bed and like, you know.
Have you ever dropped a book on your face while you're reading?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, so scary.
It hurts.
Or your phone? Whew.
The phone's bad enough. It's heavy.
Another thing that we just started doing that's not reading, but is fun, immersive, amazing. Let's talk about Harry Potter or no?
Hogwarts.
Oh,
Hogwarts Legacy.
you don't want to call it Harry Potter? Is that like
It's not Harry
sacrilege?
Potter.
Okay.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just, it's just about Hogwarts
My bad,
before
my bad.
Harry Potter.
Okay, so we're reading, or no, we're not reading. We're playing Harry Potter, and
Playing Hogwarts.
what did I
You
say?
keep saying Harry Potter. It's not. It's based in the Harry Potter universe.
Oh yeah, and it
It's
takes
not-
place like 100 or something.
It's like 100 years before Harry Potter, though, so he has like nothing to do with it.
yeah.
But
Sorry.
it's a really good game. Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Absolutely would recommend.
I can only play for a little while because then I start to get like motion sickness bad. But it is so immersive, so beautiful, and you're walking around and it's just like the buildings are just so cool. All of the graphics
yeah.
are so good.
I have a really good PC, but I didn't play it on PC. I played it on the PS5. And even the PS5,
Yeah.
beautiful, stunning. And I'm playing on performance mode, which isn't even the highest quality of graphics.
And I'm playing on easy mode. That's not it.
That's not the same thing.
Oh, it's not?
No, performance mode is
Oh, that's
how
like
the
this.
graphics are.
Oh, my bad.
It either runs better in performance mode, or you have quality mode.
I don't see
where
how
it
that's
where
gonna.
it doesn't run quite as good, but it looks nicer.
I don't see how it's gonna translate to the Switch
I don't
because
know
there's
how
so
it-
many things that you have to be pressing.
Yeah,
What, the camera's gonna be on the side still?
yeah. The controllers are almost set up the same.
Oh, I need to go get my quiche.
Okay. Well, we had fun talking about things we like.
Yeah. So
So if we do easy videos like this, I feel
easy. What do you mean easy?
like just talking about things we like or
Oh.
different things, something other than like a
Heavier topic?
Heavier topic. I feel like we could do more of these. If you guys want to see more of these, let us know.
Yeah.
Because we could put these out probably more often and just film randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, hey, we're going to film a video about whatever we're doing today.
I know. I told you I wanted to do like favorite things and stuff like
So-
that. So, anyways, have a nice day.
Thank you
See
for
ya.
watching.
Gotta go get my quiche.